trio in
Yes.
geek news. We see the topics here again. It's always some very interesting takes for this. So we got Speedy here today. As we said before the stream, not driving. Speedy not driving today.
No. I'm here. I'm here in the
Speedy's
studio.
here.
We're about to do this.
Speedy's here. And my other partner in crime, we got Jules here from Twitter. How's it going,
Twitter. What's up, everybody?
Jules? Or X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
Twitter.
From the X space.
We are beaming this on X, Twitter, also on my Rumble account. Shout out to Rumble. They've been holding it down for all my streams, plus my new Friday show with Jules. They've been giving us some good viewership. And we're on Speedy's Facebook and YouTube as well. Whatever platform you're watching this on, make sure you're supporting the platform, following, and all that stuff here. So the topics here. It's been a little breaking news out there right before, like an hour before the stream started. I had my topics all together, and then, boom, this article comes out about Marvel's The Defenders.
My favorite topic.
I know a lot of people are excited as far as what Daredevil's coming back, on Disney Plus, but they're making it very sure we're mature. I don't know if y'all saw that latest clip. Like they kept saying it's TVMA, like it's for adults, on Disney. But when you talk about Daredevil, you saw Punisher in the in the trailer. But you got to think about the rest of the crew, right? We saw that Daredevil trailer, and it was kind of seeding things that we saw on Marvel Netflix. And then the story today is there is significant talks, which all intents and purposes, I think, is already decided. Marvel Studios exploring, quote unquote, bringing back Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, and not just the characters. We're talking about the actors. They're talking about bringing back all the same actors from before. So if you like them on Marvel Netflix, it sounds like you're getting more for this. Speedy, the Defenders hype. It looks like the gang is getting back together. What you think about that?
Once again, we are back. Will we or will we not continue the Defenders storyline for the Netflix shows? All of them, even Iron Fist. Why not?
Yeah.
Why the heck not?
Yeah.
I mean, if
you okay with Finn Jones?
If we can get, a mid Captain America Brave New World, we can fix Iron Fist, right?
Early Caps.
Oh, sorry.
Early Caps.
Sorry, incoming fast. Coming already.
Speedy's charged up today. He not driving.
We can fix Iron Fist, right? If we could redo Daredevil mid filming, right? Write scripts. We can fix Iron Fist, right? Do a whole new season.
That's the whole.
Season two wasn't that bad.
It wasn't. It was a course correction. It was definitely it was a trial at a course correction in the way they presented season one.
Yeah.
Season one, nobody was feeling it. Even me. And season two was a step in the right direction, even though it had some flaws. But can we get something great now? Why not?
I mean, Jules, with the Iron Fist thing, that seemed to kind of get your attention, Jules. Were you not a fan of the Iron Fist first two seasons?
Absolutely not. I think it was definitely the weakest by far out of the entire Defenders series. A lot of these seasons weren't that great to begin with for, outside of Daredevil. Jessica Jones was good for the first season. It kind of it wasn't that great. Season two, Luke Cage for me was just weak in general. It could have been way better. I think people were pretty disappointed with what Netflix did with them, even with that Defenders TV show. So I hope Marvel can come in, work some magic. It seems Daredevil looks like it's going to be amazing. So keep that same trajectory, apply it to Defenders. Who cares what happened with Netflix? Let's just start a new era.
Yeah, Luke Cage season 2 was kind of like iffy, and then Jessica Jones was okay.
So
Defenders was a little mid too.
This is my thing.
I had a lot of good ideas. Defenders,
This is my thing. The storylines, like you said at first, Speedy, are they going to continue all the storylines? Because Daredevil, I still feel they're going to kind of soft. It's going to be still kind of some soft retcons with Daredevil, though we got the
Possibly.
I think everyone liked the first 3 seasons, but they're still kind of carrying that over. Now with Luke Cage, they kind of carried over that mayor thing to Daredevil, right? So it sounds like these storylines are continuing, but they're going to kind of forget like what didn't work probably.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
Some time's gonna pass, definitely. We've already seen that already. What they've already shown us in the Daredevil trailer. A good amount of time has passed. So
yeah.
I mean, even the Daredevil one seems like a soft reboot of the Netflix series. So you could definitely expect, and that was the best series by far from all of these Netflix TV shows. So if they did that with Daredevil, they'll definitely do it with the others.
But it feels like they are carrying over, like I said, the major parts, like the end of season 3. You have Bullseye, and then you had the Daredevil unmasking himself, and it looks like in this new trailer, Fist knows who Matt Murdock is, right?
Definitely.
They're carrying over that stuff, the big stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's still connected, but just loosely.
Right. Now, some stuff I hope they don't carry over though. Is like Speedy, that Defenders show, like it has a lot of promise in that season, but
you don't want them to explain how there's a dead dragon body living under New York City?
I mean, they don't have to.
Dead dragon carcass? Yeah, why not?
They could pass over that detail, that little detail.
Some of these shows were just such a chore to get to.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna pick and choose, kind of like and then. I think the first season, most of these shows was good at first season. Like Jessica Jones was near perfect. Like every
Jessica Jones was
episode
great,
had a crazy cliffhanger. Like every episode.
That's Iron Fist. Iron Fist is the only one that came out the gate.
Except Iron Fist.
Yeah, it was a little weak.
Yeah.
That
was kind of weird. That first season was very weird for Iron Fist. Like it was just very mad. Like just. Yeah,
and it should have been like, who doesn't love martial arts? And then you have all these magical components to it, and they just completely just dropped the ball.
Been an easy layup there, and then putting them on stage, like that's where the money was. They did that. They went to Defenders, I think, right? Speedy,
they did, and then they did.
That was magic, right?
They did a little bit of the Heroes for Hire in the second season of Iron Fist.
That's right.
Around with the idea,
And season 2 wasn't that bad. I mean, you need to get Jessica Henwick back though if you're gonna do that for real.
I like Omari's take. That's it right there.
Stuff is so he like I said in Defenders, the Heroes for Hire stuff. I thought that worked really good in Defenders, but it was kind of a hodgepodge of stuff they were trying to do.
If you know a little bit of your Iron Fist lore, you know that there's more Iron Fists in the past, and the mantle keeps passing throughout the years. And in the comic books right now, there is a new character that's the Iron Fist. There's actually been two new Iron Fists besides Danny Rand. He's more like a character that they go for advice and he's kind of he's kind of retired in the comic books. You know what I mean? He's kind of like this now again.
Pushing aside the white man.
Yeah,
that's what they're gonna say.
Aside. And the way that they ended that second season, where Jennifer Henwick's character was kind of like an Iron Fist, to be and he was kind of taken on this power that was owned by a previous Iron Fist on the comic books, where he can put the Iron Fist power through a weapon, even if it's a pistol or bullets.
That was interesting. That was the last scene of the season 2.
So I think MCU might do kind of this weird remix where he's kind of like figured out how to use the Iron Fist power in different unique ways. And then that mantle's going to pass to some new, exciting, new young character, and they'll have that character probably, integrate with Shang-Chi and whatever's happening in that universe. You know what I mean?
But I do hope they keep the Danny Rand with the Heroes for Hire stuff. I hope they do that team up.
Yeah, I think they might play around with that in Disney Plus, but then I feel like as far as the big MCU narrative, they're going to play around with that. They're going to have the Danny Rand character be like the father figure, maybe, like to mentor, whatever new Iron Fists are coming up.
The producer of these Marvel series, his quote is saying there's an unlimited storylines because they're pulling from all the comics and everything. So I think they could do all that stuff, like you said, spinoffs and things like that. Heroes for Hire for sure. Everyone was wanting
that's
that.
What needs to happen right there. That's a Disney Plus show. Heroes for Hire. Boom.
Yeah, I see that happening.
8 episodes. Let's go. Run it.
Well, they thought of the Dart. They was thinking of doing the Daughters of the Dragon. Again, using the Jessica Henwick and then
they could do that too.
The Misty
Knight.
Misty Knight. Yeah, Misty Knight. Which, you know, I have my thoughts of that character as far as on the show, but I mean, Luke Cage season 1, the first like 6 or 7 episodes was darn near perfect as well too. Like that, they had some good stuff going with that. Then they killed Mahershala Ali. Then it's spoiler. Then it just was downhill from there.
Yeah.
It was completely downhill.
He was a really cool villain. You know, the way he was portraying the
he
character.
Was, man. Yeah. He was Nino really Brown. Like he was literally playing Nino Brown. Like in Luke Cage. I was like, this is like a perfect. Like, who is this dude? Then he goes on to win Oscars and stuff. You know, it's like okay, he was that good. So. Amari says if they bring back Finn Jones, he needs to do some more push-ups first. It sounds like Finn Jones coming back. I mean, I had to laugh as soon as I saw this because Speedy, you remember TiVo and TiVo hated Finn Jones, man. That's if people don't know Lord of Longbox, definitely recipes of TiVo and Mikey was hearing about this years ago, saying they're getting the game back together. That's why I tweeted it out that way because that's what he was saying a couple of years ago. And I was like, man, Mikey obviously would have got a kick out of this, but TiVo, he would have been punching the air that Finn Jones is probably coming back. And I was like, man, it's finally happening, right? So that's amazing stuff, man. It's with Marvel and the stuff that Feige is trying to do, you got to give the people what they want. I know, Jules, you think that DC, that's what you're supposed to give the people what they want. Marvel, they literally have it with Daredevil and, like I said, with the Defenders. With this, so cool.
These are all layups for Marvel. It's so easy for them to give people what they want because everything's already kind of in their wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm. Everybody wants Michael Colter back too. Like Luke Cage, he was just perfect. He was perfect as Luke Cage.
He was perfect. More perfect casting. You know, I don't see any much better casting than that. And even they alluded to the relationship with Jessica Jones. You know, things happening possibly in the future. Yeah,
that was a good crossover in the Jessica Jones season 1 at least. That was real cool getting that crossover with Luke Cage and their relationship. And then, like I said, season 2, Jessica Jones went off the rails too. The CW disease, or just after you get that first season or 2 good.
There's fans of Jessica Jones all the way to up to the end. People like the what was the girl Hellcat? Was that her? Was that?
Yeah, Hellcat,
yeah. So there's a lot of fans of that.
I actually like Jessica Jones probably the most out of all of them. I didn't love the show, but I just thought the shows could have been better overall.
Yeah.
Even the second season, Jules.
I mean, it was okay. I didn't hate it. Like I've definitely seen worse sequel shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come back and definitely mess with the Trish Walker character again.
There's nothing they can come back from.
Right.
Mm-hmm. A lot of problems with this, though. Like I said, I think they're going to do some kind of setup in Daredevil. Obviously, they're, you got season. Well, was it season 1? I guess season 4 technically. Daredevil coming out next month, and then they're already starting to shoot season 2. With hopes of season 3 as well for Daredevil. And I think they're going to sprinkle in the Defenders definitely in season 2, if not the end of season 1.
Yeah, they got to give them they got to give them somebody to fight.
Yeah, they're definitely going to mix things up. There was early rumors of Jessica Jones actually showing up in Daredevil. That was before the change in the story. So I think they probably moved her to season 2. Like I said. And just the crossover stuff. That was the best part of the Defenders season because the story went crazy after a while. But seeing them come together early in that season was really cool for the crossovers with that. So Mar says, never got to Jessica Jones season 3. There was a season 3. I don't remember watching season 3. I don't think about it. And Punisher season 2. Everyone likes Punisher. So good stuff overall. Sounds like the Defenders are back, and like I said, we'll wait for those cameos pretty soon now. Now, one thing we don't have to wait for is Speedy's takes on Brave New World. Now the box office numbers, guys. The box office numbers has come out real quick. Let me mention this. So with now early on, we knew the budget. Well, they were saying The budget was 180. That's on paper. So we're just gonna take their word for it. I'm not going to even fight them about the, everyone's an expert with budgets now. It is international. Now, overall, it's made nearly $200 million. Opening weekend, President's Day, Valentine's Day weekend. So they treat it as like a holiday weekend, sort of. So you got about $200 million against the budget. Not bad. Like 90 domestically overall. Though it did have I believe it was a B- cinema score, which isn't good, but it's like a caveat. Usually,
how is that not good though. So I've been hearing that from a lot of people. How is that not good?
So yeah, so with cinema score B+. Well, first off, they gauge it by day one opening night. These are the most interested people in this film, and if it's anything under a B+, that means the diehards wasn't actually feeling it, now if it's like and this is just for like mainstream films, action, adventure, sci-fi, comedy, rom-coms, stuff like that. Horror, someone's always like stomach turning or just ticked off that someone died that shouldn't. So horror is always under B+. Like you can survive because you're going to tick off someone in a horror film, or you get scared to death or something. Okay. So with this, now what I'm seeing new people, they're trying to kind of aggregate the cinema score with Rotten Tomatoes, which, I don't really care what the critics have to say most of the time, but the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, they say 89% is anything under 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, audience score. You're likely going to have a less than B+ cinema score. So I got to do more tests on that to see, because this is under 89% as well with audience score. So overall, though, with all that said, maybe not the best word of mouth, but you got some fans of this, Marvel fans. I'll just say this, okay? Captain America: Brave New World. Is it Quantumania bad? No, it's not Quantumania bad. It's not Eternals bad to me. You know what I'm saying? What was your thought just with the film itself?
I don't dislike Eternals. It wasn't a perfect movie either, but I don't dislike Eternals. It's definitely not Quantumania bad as far as like the expectations versus reality, I guess maybe I was just in a good mood when I went to go see Captain America, because I liked it. I thought it was like
you liked it. Okay.
I thought it was at least a 7 out of 10. I really want to give it a 6.5 out of 10.
I'm more in the 6 range.
You could see the flaws. You know what I mean? I accept the flaws. It's kind of like like you accept. I accept you, Captain America, for who you are. It's kind of like the way that Captain America actually wins the battle with the Red Hulk. It's kind of like a come into Jesus moment. Let's have a conversation. Is this the movie you were really waiting for? Were you?
So now with that, and obviously we're in full spoiler territory. Y'all should have seen the movie already by now. When I was aware of a previous cut of this film, I knew the ending, right? How he beat Red Hulk. And I tweeted out, I said, the same energy as the Martha moment, like literally a BVS Martha moment. That's literally how he beat Red Hulk.
He literally talked him down. He consulted him. This is what he did. He's like, look.
And that rung in my head like after the film, because like in the middle of the film, I'm thinking like, he's just gonna talk this dude down? Like, is this what we're gonna do? But then I was like, that's a Sam character. I was like, okay.
But that's the Sam character. And then I go, if you've been following the Sam Wilson character since the first day he was introduced, and you understand his character arc, and you understand that he was a counselor helping soldiers with PTSD, it's perfect. A perfect way for him to survive that battle.
That's why I was like, okay.
Is it Marvel sexy? Wham bam, exciting throwdown, dramatic battle? No. But is it close to the character arc? Yes.
This is Sam Wilson's film, right? I understand why it was a choice, right? It was a choice to do this, but you're building up this Red Hulk thing, and that's my main issue with this film is that wasn't enough Red Hulk. I knew as soon as we saw the first trailer, I was like,
that too.
I know this is going to be a problem. There's not going to be enough Red Hulk. You know what I mean?
Do you know what the biggest L that Marvel takes for this movie is? That they introduced Red Hulk in the promo that we knew for sure he was coming from years ago. You know what I mean? Because if they would have held those cards closely to the chest and waited till opening day, which they probably couldn't have because it probably would have not helped them. But if they were able to hold them, if they were able to hold some cards, and that reveal would have happened on release weekend, the buzz would have been even bigger. They were like, "Oh, yeah,
this is my theory."
Into Red Hulk. You know what I mean?
This is my theory because they shouldn't have put it in the trailer. Now again, it's the whole doomsday argument from BBS again. You shouldn't have did that. You could have sold this film. This film could have performed the same or even better if you would have. You have the Giancarlo Esposito guy. If you did the whole Serpent Society, and played that up in the trailer, like, okay, they're fighting this secret society,
right?
And then, of course, the toys leaks would have happened, right? The toy leak would have said, "Oh, Red Hulk's going to pop up somewhere." Yeah.
Well,
cool, that's okay.
The regulars would have been like, "Oh, what the heck is this Red Hulk thing that the president turned into?" You know what I mean? Like, bro, it would have been. That would have been
a cool surprise.
It would be for the nerds, but honestly, general audience being concerned, I think a lot of them just went to go see this Red Hulk because they probably even. I've seen a lot of comments on social media like, why is the Hulk red? Like they don't even know. So I think the Red Hulk is what brought them and got them that money that they did, especially thanks to the holiday weekend, Valentine's Day. Of course, everybody's gonna be going to the movie theaters as a date, so it was, it was all planned.
So my thing with that, Jules, is like, because you got the Marvel formula going here too, and so it's like, I think enough people would have showed up to see, okay, this next installment, of Sam Wilson, and again against this secret society. I think that would I do feel this would have brought enough people.
They can't keep taking that gamble saying, "Oh, it's a Marvel movie, people are going to go watch it." No, because we've seen that the Marvel brand has been not as strong as it was in previous years. They had to go strong with this one because they couldn't take any gamble, especially with all the reshoots. We know how much money they must have spent on this. They needed every penny.
I mean, that's a fair argument only because of the Marvels. They couldn't, that's the worst performing Marvel film ever still, as far as opening week. And this film, Brave New World, nearly doubled with the Marvel. So this is a win for Marvel. I know people, I know there's going to be experts out there.
We're all surprised
I do get what you're saying with that, Jules. Where you better go ahead and shoot your load, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
To get people to watch this.
Exactly. If you want people to, get back in there and have faith again in Marvel, then, don't pull any punches. Just go in there with your best and see what happens. And that's what they did.
Yeah, and hey, like I said, it's nearly 200 million worldwide. They're saying, just by numbers and figures out there, they're saying if they get it close to 500 million, they will actually be happy with this film worldwide. It may have a shot. We'll see overseas, how that goes overseas. But the plus for this film is, even though it doesn't have the big, it's not a huge opening weekend. It doesn't have the best audience score, but nothing else literally is coming out in February. They have runway for 3 more weeks.
Yeah, on Rotten Tomatoes, and it goes to the critics versus the audience, right? Debate that always usually happens sometimes. I mean, critics at a 49%, and the audience score is at a 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar, right? We've been here before, right? Yeah. Does Marvel kind of know what his audience wants better than trying to wow critics?
I mean, the shocking thing is that the critics usually eat up whatever Marvel puts out. So the fact that they, didn't get a first score is pretty shocking.
Right.
Well, just according to Twitter, Marvel didn't get those checks out in time to the shields.
It's pretty obvious.
The shields didn't get greased.
They didn't get that care package.
The box was probably eradicated.
I did buy the Captain America popcorn, the Shield popcorn. So they got that joint was like $50.
Really? That's probably why I didn't get it. I think it's still available online.
I almost tripped over myself when he told me the price. I was like, "What?"
That's a good collectible though. Like that's something I would spend 50 on that. That's not bad. That's not bad. But
I caved
according to the 2025 film list, which is wrong already because stuff moved around, but the next film that's coming out for probably a draw for pop culture is Snow White. which is Disney as well. So they space this out perfectly. Brave New World, they still got, like I said, a couple more 3-4 weeks to get a little money off of this, and I think it can hit at least 400 million. I think it's going to make that range.
Yeah, it looks like it.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that a failure though? If it doesn't hit 500K, still?
Well, between 4 and 5, they're saying is the because if they're going with the 180 number as budget, 180. Most people say you got to double the budget. Then some people say you got to triple it, whatever. Between 400 and 500 million, it's like 450 ish. If it's under that, let's say if it doesn't get 400, then they probably got to fire somebody. But but if it's between 4 and 5, they was like, hey, because Sam, he's gonna be in the Avengers film. Like in the film, they kind of name dropped Avengers. They didn't go anywhere with it in the film, but they're just kind of setting them up for the next chapter. So, and I guess the post-credit scene, did you kind of catch what that was about, Speedy? Pretty much the leader talking about what's coming up.
Seeing the probabilities of multiple I forget exactly what the line was, but multiple universes and things like that.
Yeah.
And, it was kind of lame. It kind of wasn't worth waiting all those credits to wait for when they could have thrown that in, right after the slate credits. I forget what they call that.
Put it like in the mid credits at least.
Yeah, the mid credits scene.
It was totally tacked on. Yeah. Like early versions of the film, it didn't even have that conversation.
Yeah, bro. I got Adobe Premiere too. We could have fixed that. Okay. Come on, guys.
And so I think they tacked that on to be like, hey, we're Robert Downey Jr. multiverse, something's coming. Yeah, that's all that was.
It was.
Didn't really pop for you.
I wasn't. I was like, okay, I mean, like if you're, I guess for normals, or normies, like we like to say, I guess that would have been like, oh, what is he talking about? But for us, it was kind of like, who probably would wait for those post credit scenes. It was kind of like, God, we know what's coming. Come on, give us something more.
That's interesting. I think, like you said, like the normal, people that they probably just go see Marvel, like they didn't read comics or any animated or nothing. Right. They're probably just like, what's going? Like, I guess they're excited. I don't know. I didn't really get a good gauge out there. You know what I mean?
I think people. And like, also another thing too. Maybe this movie's just doing so well just because it's been it's the first Marvel, full length movie this year. Period.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think we only had one,
from that. Right. We only had one. Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah. So.
And that was after the strikes and after, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So. You only had one all year in 2024.
Yeah. So definitely
this is the first one.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's some. It wasn't bad. You know what I mean? It wasn't a bad film. Like if you, at the very least, matinee. Jules, I'm assuming you didn't watch the film yet.
No, I'm gonna watch this on Disney Plus.
All right.
Always keeping it real. But yeah, it's worth the watch. It's definitely you're not wasting your time watching it. I don't feel, and while it's in theaters, I suggest people at least do a matinee of it. It's the latest thing. Like if you're a moviegoer, you probably should go see it. You know what I mean? People that's normally in theaters. So that is what it is.
It's not bad. Is it perfect? Absolutely not.
Did you feel like I didn't feel bored? It was like it was okay. So I talked about the Red Hawk problem. Like again, not enough Giancarlo Esposito either. Not enough with him either.
Yeah.
So it just wasn't enough. I just felt like, you know what I mean? It was like one of those buffets, but it's like you only get one scoop of everything. It was like, no, like I want like a couple scoops of banana pudding.
I mean, after watching it though, it makes me think, oh man, what was this before? Like, how bad was this before?
I think before the add-ons, you didn't have any of the Giancarlo Esposito,
right?
And you had. They say it was supposed to be like a bigger fight earlier in the film, and then it's this long period, and then you get Red Hawk. So,
okay,
whoever thought the original story, they probably already fired. And they tried to salvage. You can tell they tried to salvage his film, right? That's what it felt like.
Spoiler alert. So there's the scene where leader comes out and is doing the the bad guy monologue, like, haha, I'm smarter than you, and I'm doing this and then that.
That was disappointing.
You got no way to stop me. That monologue, that usually happens in these movies. Okay,
let's
but
get into
around
it.
They had this weird filter where it seems like they like blurred out something that they didn't want you to see.
When
I
during
was
that scene,
in IMAX, so maybe because in IMAX it was just too high def, but
just during that scene when he was monologuing.
Yeah, There's a lot.
It's supposed to be like some details. Yeah, it's supposed to be some details in the background.
It's like the way I have my background blurred. It was like that, but the corners were blurred. And
there's like some.
Okay.
There's some people online, some nerd scavengers. They kind of was able to zoom in to some of that stuff. It's just like little details of different films.
That's a line. That's a line we can't cross. So okay.
a little too much. Yeah, I gotta draw the line somewhere. I don't have enough time. So speaking of the leader, and again the monologue, which I did think that scene, I was like, okay. After that scene came with the leader, and he's like monologuing and stuff like that, I was like, this film's gonna suck. I had the film. I was like, this film is gonna be terrible.
I think they misused the leader, definitely.
Well, they definitely misused the look of the leader. So, what did you think of this? Because I have this on excellent authority. There is a version of the film where the leader looked like this.
Yeah,
okay?
What happened
the same
to that?
film we saw. Same film we saw. He had the enlarged head, and it was like the comics. For some reason, they went with this in the finished cut.
Yeah, that looks like a last minute thing, and that makes more sense.
Oh, definitely was.
Why
that looks like the? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. That makes more sense now. That scene that I talked about that looks kind of weird. Like they blurred out something.
That's supposed to be like his brain, I guess, coming out of his skull.
Yeah.
That looks like the villain from Invincible, that from the last season. I don't remember his name, but he had the exact same design where the top of his head his brain.
Yeah, they totally stole that. And like again, there is a proper cut where the leader looks like his brain is not out, and he's talking and stuff. Like it's very weird that they changed that. I don't know.
Bad decision. Oof.
It was a bad. I don't know. What happened. I don't know why we got that, but we did, and
somebody looked
very
at
weird
and didn't do their research.
Well, like you said, someone watched the last season of Invincible. It's like, oh, I got an idea.
And no one else apparently watched Invincible to know that he stole it. This is what happens when we get people that aren't fans working on these projects.
Yeah, that weird choice, y'all. They should release the real leader cut. I'll be all for that.
Real leader cut.
The real. I don't know. I couldn't think of that off the top of my head.
What?
Yeah,
they should double down and give us the original cut. Here, this is what we had before, guys.
Just give us the original cut. Do the original cut before they add anything. Yeah.
Give us the original cut and the Blu-ray. That Blu-ray will break records, bro. I tell you, it'll break records.
They could really do that. Actually, they could be like, hey.
I mean, this was just a post-credit scene, right? Like they could still fix it for the next appearance.
Well, he was in about 2-3 scenes. I think
it's in the middle of the movie.
Oh,
it's in a lot. He's in a lot with the look in the movie. Yeah. It's not.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like they changed it in post. Like the cut that I'm just saying the cut that I saw, his head was like this, and so the original cut I saw, and then
damn, dun dun dun. Syl Abdul confirms that the leader looked different in the original cut of Brave New World. Spoiler.
So they came back in post. They came back in post and they decided to do. Now they did do an extra scene, like the post credit scene wasn't in the early cut at all, and then one of the scenes in the middle of the film, wasn't in the early cut. So, but they did all this in post. So very, very, very weird choice by Marvel. Not surprised they changed leader's look. Remember Gore? Was that in Thor or? Who am I thinking of? Gore?
Yeah, from Thor.
From when they were like in the stadium.
The movie that sucked.
Christian Bale.
The movie that sucked the worst.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Man, how did they mess that up? Like, Christian Bale, and he was like going for every scene. I was like, bro, you're not in the same movie as everyone else. Like I guarantee
his coffee was different on set. That's what happened.
no one is in the same movie as you, bro. Like you are taking this too seriously. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a Marvel L right there with the leader. They really should have kept the real with that.
Probably
now.
the leader is the most disappointing thing about the movie. There you go.
I mean, I don't like his look.
There's some disappointing things, but
yeah, he was just there to me. Like I know he's like, I'm the mastermind behind everything, but it's like it didn't.
It was like a misuse, you know?
Yeah, it was no weight to that. What did you think when people were saying? Because before the film came out and they saw the early projections, and some shills were kind of scrambling to try to get some kind of hype on, and it was like, this is a sequel, a secret sequel to The Incredible Hulk. Yeah. And again, knowing the cut that I saw, I was like, nah, BS now. But what did you think? I mean,
it was in this weird way, you know.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
it wasn't this weird way. Yeah,
but yeah.
It wasn't this weird way, and I think they kind of did it, Syl. I think they kind of did it to be spiteful to Universal. They were like, yo, we're going to do our own thing with what we did with you just to prove to you that we don't need to do a real Hulk sequel because you don't want to come to the table.
When you say Hulk sequel, you're supposed to have the Hulk in like this.
Yeah, it's true.
I know you take like the leader,
but it's a very Marvel thing to be like, you don't want to, negotiate. Well, we will in the comic books. We'll kill all the X-Men and big up the Eternals. You know what I mean? They did that. They really did. Yeah. They destroyed the X-Men in the comic books, and they were going to destroy the whole franchise just because Fox didn't want to, do business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If Sony was like that with Spider-Man, guess what? What character would do that to in the comic book world too? They'd marginalize Spider-Man like this, and it's a very Marvel thing. I think it's a very Marvel thing what they did.
It was a Marvel thing, though. Supposedly they have the rights now. We'll see. I mean, of course, while they was making this film, maybe they didn't have the rights to Hulk back, but I think they're going to develop it sounds like they're developing a Hulk project. But it's going to be, Mark Ruffalo and whatever that crap is going to be. Music City says they missed a huge opportunity connecting the leader to intelligentsia.
Oh, yeah.
She-Hulk.
They missed a lot doing this, though. That's what happened. They were doing this already. And so when that project was coming around, they were like, oh, we can't use a leader. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm. It relied on Incredible Hulk history. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the way the Shields were saying it, I know IGN was like, this is a secret sequel to Intelligent. I was just like, no, Incredible Hulk's not in this film, yo. Like, no, you can't say this is a sequel, this is a Batman sequel, but Batman's not in it. You can't say that. You know what I mean? Like that's what they were trying to do. But again, the Red Hulk factor, like Jules was saying, like that I think they got a lot of normies to say, Harrison Ford was great in the film. I'll say that anytime he was on the screen, I thought he was great.
He seemed like he was just having fun. He's like, oh, what do you want me to do? Okay.
He's like the check cleared. Okay.
Yeah, that is what he said. How he was going to approach this movie. He was just going to have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great. He was great in this film, and as Thunderbolt Ross, and he was trying to hold back, Hawking out, and then I hope they use him again. He wasn't bad at all. He wasn't bad at all in this. And then the last thing with this film, outside the leader part and stuff like that, Speedy. Again, a lot of name drops, adamantium. Mm-hmm. It was so inconsequential. Like
it was like adamantium. And
everyone's like,
what are we fighting for? Adamantium. What are we fighting about? Adamantium. What are we fighting with? Adamantium. Why not?
It's like, is that it? Like, we're gonna do anything with that? No. Okay.
Not in this movie, but adamantium. Before you leave. Adamantium.
And again, it was name dropping. And that's kind of this film. This was a big Marvel commercial because they kept saying Avengers. It's like the Avengers not showing up in this film.
And
adamantium the same. But with that, there's some quotes out there. When you think of adamantium, you think of mutants, X-Men, right? There's quotes going around saying they want to sprinkle in the use of mutants and to kind of get it in the zeitgeist. So when the full film comes out, which all intents and purposes, I think it's coming out right after Secret Wars, the new X-Men film. So we're about 2 years away. They're saying they want to kind of give you little bits of mutants, and then so they don't want to overwhelm you
right
when the X-Men film comes out. I call BS with that. I mean, well, I'll get your thoughts on that.
I want to be overwhelmed. Tell me more about the X-Men.
Like, so Jules, do you think that they're taking too long, like with their X-Men, load? Like, just why are we waiting?
Yeah, like as soon as you got those rights, like I would have been pen to paper. Like that would have been my sole focus if I was Marvel. You already got Spider-Man in house, you got Hulk in house. You were literally just waiting. You got Fantastic Four looking amazing. You literally were just waiting on the X-Men. That's what we need. That's what Marvel really needs to reinvigorate the brand and start making billions of dollars with every single movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
however,
especially. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to see what they're going to do. Sorry. Yeah, I just want to see what they're actually going to do with the X-Men. Like, are we going to get a reboot, a soft reboot, same actors? Like, what's the plan here? And that's what I want to know. And that's what has me nervous.
So that's a good question, because in that same quote, they said the plans for X-Men are very fluid.
Right. So, I don't know what that means.
So fluid. No, that means they're going to change stuff like they did with this movie.
They're going to change the leader just like the leader.
Oh, my God.
So this makes me nervous with the X-Men. Like Omari says, they tease Wolverine and She-Hulk. I think it was like on a newspaper or something. A man with adamantium claws. It literally says it. But it's like, no, we don't want Easter eggs. We like Omari said too. X-Men 97. Me and Jules talked a lot about it. X-Men 97 was like a high point. Like, you should have already had films coming out right after.
Yeah, like we haven't even gotten any casting updates, nothing about what if we're getting a movie, who's going to be directing it, producing it, absolutely nothing. And it's coming out after Secret Wars, you said, which is probably going to start filming soon. So what's the plan? Like, we need to start getting some announcements.
It's seeming like definitely recast, but it's like a huge.
There's a lot of
rumors
Jackman going on,
shadow. It's a huge, like, Hugh Jackman may still want to do more. Like, okay, this is what I'm gonna say. I think we all love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but like, really, bro, like Secret Wars should be the end for him. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, let's stop there. Right?
There's nothing worse.
Fact, they should play with all the toys. They should go crazy.
Yeah,
they should go crazy in Secret Wars, and then it's time to move on.
Exactly. You never want it. The worst thing you see is when your hero, like an athlete, refuses to retire. He keeps on going, and then he's like way over the hill. And by the time he retires, everybody's like, "Thank God!" Right? Like, it's just a waste, and it's just so sad to see him go out that way. We don't want that with Wolverine, with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
And he already had a perfect ending, which is like they were really messing with perfection. You had his send off in Logan, right, some years ago, and then you bring back Wolverine and Deadpool Wolverine. They didn't mess it up, right? Like, I think it stuck the landing. But it's like, let's not get too cocky here. Like, let's end his story. You know what I mean? And I think
they also at the end of that movie,
like a younger Wolverine. Go ahead, Jules.
Absolutely. I mean, Hugh Jackman, there was reports that he was already having a hard time bulking up because he has some type of illness or something like that. Yeah, you're only going to be getting older. It's going to be even harder for you. Yeah, it's going to be even harder for you to get into this shape all the time. Just stick with Broadway. Like, let's just
end. If he was young, if he was in his prime, it still would be hard to be in shape. I mean,
right.
It is what it is.
If he was still in his 40s, fine. Sorry.
They have a chance with this new. They have a chance with this new X-Men to do something fresh, man. Like, there's a lot of casting rumors, like you said up there, Speedy. Which I don't get too much into the casting rumors because sometimes that's their publicist trying to get their name out there at times. But I want like that fresh look. I like that the young girl that was in Stranger Things. I think she'd be great as a Jean Grey or whatever they want to do. Or they're saying people for Rogue. Give us a fresh cast. What?
She would be great, but I feel like she's a little overexposed. She's a little overexposed. Wait, hold on. The Sadie girl, the redhead girl?
Yeah, Sadie. Yeah.
I'd rather have someone else.
No, personal choice. But yeah, but it's just a fresh cast would be great. It's just the way and not using Hugh Jackman over and over again. Yeah. I kind of don't want to see.
Let's get back. Let's get younger. I want to see a true origin. I've been saying this for years. I want to see a true origin of the X-Men movies. Foxman dropped the ball on that. Like, Marvel has a chance here to do it right and not mess it up how they did with Spider-Man. They made so many unnecessary changes to the lore there. Just let's stick the landing here with X-Men. That's all we want.
Yeah, let's just go back to basics. Like have start off with a basic team, grow it. You can do like 10 films of X-Men and spin-offs.
It could.
Solo series.
Right. Just milk it. Milk it. That's what they need.
Could really do a lot with that. So we got S on X says Cat 4 is better than Ant-Man 3 and the Marvels. Marvels was better than Aquaman 2. Box office showed audience preference to Aquaman 1 over Captain Marvel 1. Yeah, so I'm with you with Cap 4, it's a very watchable film. Like I don't feel like it's a bad movie. It's just not enough in it for me to make it like so above average.
Yeah.
It's and I'm of the opinion the Marvels isn't a bad film. I know it's the worst Marvel film ever to some people, but the Marvels wasn't a bad film. It actually was not a bad.
Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa's body is what beat Captain Marvel 1. Because all those stay-at-home moms went to the movie theaters with their girlfriends.
Hey, Momoa brings them to the yard. They say.
Hey, there you go.
But with Captain Marvel 1, it has so much again. I mean, the perception of it. It has so much against like Brie Larson was attacking white people and stuff like that, and so they didn't like that. You know what I mean? Like they didn't like white men were upset at her the entire time, and then you had audiences where they was like, it's cool with the female empowerment, but are we gonna go too far with that messaging? So it's just a few things.
There's some weird stuff happening.
Yeah, and Aquaman 1 is actually a good film as well too, though it's not Snyderverse. Just want to let people know that.
Look at the result.
Aquaman 1, you mean Aquaman 2?
Aquaman 1 is not Snyderverse. Yeah.
No, it's not.
He was literally a producer.
Was he?
Yeah.
The story is not Snyderverse, but we'll fight about that later, Julie. Okay? Because I know you're not going to back down on that. But with Amari says here, as far as the topic of X-Men again, they're going to bring back Patrick Stewart just to kill him off again. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why you need a fresh cast.
I don't even want to see that. He's so old now. It's just, he looked ridiculous in what's that? Doctor Strange movie.
Dang, ridiculous.
It looked crazy. I'm sorry.
Crazy.
It's like how many times are we gonna watch him die? Like he's old in every single iteration. Like it's like he's not even supposed to be that old in the comics. Like he was still a young man when he
trying to do the work. He's working way past retirement age. Okay.
Yeah, I know he has to enjoy his golden years.
But I did hear we're definitely getting a new Xavier for the X-Men.
Yeah,
so
we need one.
So
whole new cast
with that.
Mm-hmm. But
yeah, just like they could do something really cool with that.
About Captain Marvel, the reaction to Captain Marvel, the result was the Marvels. They said, "Oh, you know what? Let's put this let's do an ensemble cast because Captain
she can't
Marvel
lead the film anymore."
Okay,
yeah,
but I don't think it's a solid lead, so let's do an ensemble cast. The result of Captain Marvel 1 was what we got with the Marvels. So
yeah, but they put an ensemble cast together of like 3 people, however many people that couldn't leave the film
it was a what do they call it? A
mosh posh.
Yeah, mosh posh of like let's try and fix this with what we got. And this is what we got.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, it really like you said, Brie Larson, she wouldn't have made with a headline another version of the film, but they made $1 billion, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever methods, you know what I mean? So the ensemble approach I thought was a good idea, but I think, people call it comic book movie fatigue. I think it was Marvel fatigue a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or bad Marvel story fatigue. Because Guardians 3 actually did really good that same year. So it wasn't a good story. Like, it didn't add nothing to the Marvel saga. I think that's why people didn't show up.
The Brie Larson led film came out when like Marvel was still at its peak. And then by the time the Marvels had came out, it was already starting to get that Marvel fatigue. And I think Marvel has finally realized, okay, I think the audience wants something less family friendly and a little bit more mature. And I think this Daredevil series is going to be a big test to that, to see how that is received. And then don't be surprised if we start seeing their films being a little bit more mature and less jokes on jokes on jokes.
Yeah, as we led with the Defenders, like I'm assuming they're going to follow the model where Daredevil is TVMA. Like that's what they keep saying. Like it's mature on Disney. So Punisher is going to be mature.
Is it me or whenever Marvel has a movie and they're in a serious part, they always feel like there's an awkward moment where they have to insert a joke?
Yeah, that's like a running thing on social media. Everybody knows.
That's the Marvel formula.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's breathe. It's a moment of it's like one of their rules, which I don't know if it changed. Well, let's see. So we just saw Brave New World, right? Speedy.
How was that?
Now that was still before they kind of started changing stuff.
Right.
But the whole Marvel formula thing, that'll be a good test. It's like of this new Marvel, because they didn't start shooting until after the changes. But the rule of that joke thing is to break the levity. That's what the Marvel formula is like.
Right.
And if you want the best example, that's Age of Ultron, right? Like it was a joke literally every scene.
Yeah.
Like the world's blowing up, and then Iron Man's like, "Oh, I didn't turn off the oven." It's like, bro, it's like this is too much, bro. Like every single scene, and it's like we gotta bring that back. But that's a total popcorn.
It is.
Yeah, that's Whedon's fault. That's popcorn movie. Like they doubled down into that, and now in Brave New, I gotta say, Speedy, they didn't have that too much sprinkle in it. Like it was some moments. Sam Wilson's a naturally kind of a funny guy.
Not to spoil the movie for Jules. There's one scene there where we have a cameo of a character which you may have not have not heard about yet.
Okay, that is a little
but even in that dialogue where it's like supposed to be like meaningful and they're bonding again and having some trying to big up each other, and there's some like
that is like
there's
a
joke
levity
in there too, and it's like what? Okay, but I get it. They joke around with each other, but it could have been a really good point. It could have been just a really serious dialogue. That scene,
because it was a serious moment in the film.
It was.
It really was a serious, and it's like you just throw a little joke. It's like, okay, like can we just have a moment?
It doesn't pull you out. It doesn't pull you out of the movie, but it's kind of like, really.
It's not as egregious as Age of Ultron. Like again, we blame Joss Whedon, right? But they did pull it back. Like even at the very end of Brave New World, where again it was a serious speech, and it's like, okay, Sam Wilson, then they throw a joke in there. It's like, bro, can we kind of be inspired for just a moment?
This is how Sam Wilson inspired me. This is how I'm going to speak to DC fans when I talk about the Superman movie. Okay, I'm going to talk them down, make them see reason. Okay, appeal to their emotions, and make them love cross-eyed Superman. Yeah, I was going to say Spider-Man. Poor Spider-Man.
Did that go?
I think Spider-Man needs his eyes. I will attribute this though.
He was summoned. He was summoned.
Watch out, lazy eye Superman's coming. Okay, sorry.
He just has it ready. I will attribute to the regular audience, general audience, and the fanboys alike, upping their quality or production quality mandates really due to Martin Scorsese calling out comic book movies and saying that they're not cinema. Like I feel like that was a big cultural shift right there. And after that, everybody was just crapping on, corny Marvel movies for being corny or making too many jokes. And since then, we've seen that mandate, like we need better films, more production, get a little bit more serious. And I think we're starting to see the aftermath of that.
Mm-hmm.
So Martin Scorsese probably saved comic book movies inadvertently.
He may have, like, low key, and I like how you said, Jules, where after the change in Marvel was Feige was kind of just ho humming around. Phase 4 was terrible.
Yep.
It was the middle of the Jonathan Major stuff, and then Feige's like, let me see how y'all doing with this Daredevil Born Again. And he's like, oh crap, this is terrible. Like we got to change everything. Let's change. You flipping desks and everything. And so they fired the writers, brought a new showrunner, and they redid the show. And it's like, oh, we got to start catching all these projects. They couldn't catch Agatha. That's just what you got with that. And some people like it. But they was able to try to catch Brave New World, right? And you got Thunderbolts. But then they started shooting Fantastic Four, like you said, after those changes. So that's going to be the real test. Like, is this, what's the new Marvel formula?
Yeah,
but I think that film's gonna do great.
We saw from the trailers alone, like the vibe and the feel of that entire movie is just completely different. I know you don't really like it, Speedy, but we'll see when the movie actually comes out what the overall film would be like and what the new Marvel 2.0 is going to be looking like.
Right.
What were we talking about again? Sorry.
Anyway, we got Amari here. It says they made Captain Marvel sound like required viewing for Endgame. Yeah, that's what worked after Infinity War. They set up Captain Marvel's film like at the very end of Infinity War, and like it's coming out next. Yeah, that was perfect marketing actually. Ant-Man and the Wasp only did okay. That was right after Infinity War. Yeah, so Ant-Man and the Wasp, but they tried to connect it a little bit into that, but it just Captain Marvel was built into Infinity War at the end. You know what I mean? With Nick Fury. Right. And so, like I said, he was like, oh, he's trying to page her. Then her film comes out next. You know what I mean? So just Ant-Man, I don't know how they got the 3 films, to be quite honest with you.
Yes, yeah. The first movie should have been one and done to begin with.
Just saying. Just what Jules said. As says, and over there on Twitter, y'all, at times all the comments don't come through, so I apologize if I'm not picking your comment. It's just not getting through to me. If you're watching this exclusively on X Twitter, but we're also on Speedy's YouTube channel as well, so keep those comments coming on YouTube as well. So it says here, would rather have Eternals 2 instead of the Marvels. Skip Ant-Man 3 as well, maybe a Hulk movie instead. Yeah, you're definitely gonna get a Hulk project. They're at least developing one right now. Eternals 2, I don't know, Speedy. They even try to shoehorn some of that in this film, right?
They're gonna shoehorn some of that in Secret Wars, I believe, and that's what we're gonna get with that. So,
I don't.
Eternals 2, and I didn't dislike Eternals, but it wasn't perfect either. For a lot of the same reasons somebody might dislike it.
Oddly enough, that's like the only Marvel. That's like the only Marvel project that did not get a sequel, no matter how well or poorly it was received. Like it seemed like every other film got a sequel, except even Brie Larson's movie Captain.
You know what happened? I'm gonna tell you guys exactly what happened. You want to know what happened?
Speak on it, Speedy.
Marvel got X-Men back. That's what happened. Then have to double down with another Eternal stuff. They said, "Oh wait, we just bought Fox. Hey, we could focus on what we really wanted to focus on." And the whole Eternals thing got shoehorned in a Captain America movie.
Yeah, and I'm sure that had a price.
Pretty much. That's probably the end of the Eternal story right there. It was a lot of promise in Eternals. Like it just, I don't know.
I mean, it looked pretty good in the trailers. I didn't watch the movie, but
they just kind of flew too close to the sun on that.
Because think about it, they were preparing people for the Eternal stuff for the they had the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season where they were trying to double down with it. They did the whole TV show that was not that great.
Yeah, the advertisements made it seem like that was the next big thing.
Inhumans, the Inhuman stuff, and they were playing around with those ideas, to make something cool in the absence of mutants.
I mean, you can't. The X-Men are just the X-Men. They're not replaceable.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Now you have the mutants. Like I said, it should have already been like a trilogy, ready to shoot right now of X-Men spinoff series, everything. Like they should have all this together. They're definitely right. Yeah, but that quote of which one to sprinkle, it's like, bro, no, like give it to all of us. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they're really working on anything groundbreaking that's going to take away from the X-Men or that need. I'm sure the X-Men is going to take over whatever they do right now anyway, or what they in store.
Yeah, by the end of Secret Wars, it should be all about like this is X-Men's world. Yeah. You can do the Avengers versus X-Men thing. If you want to do that. But
you also have Spider-Man.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, then
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Fantastic Four will be at its peak too. Like they're finally going to have all of their house brands, like their really major brands, all working in tandem at the same time for the first time ever in film. That's what they should be focusing on.
Yeah, and as I've been saying, probably this past month, the more I find out about the future of Marvel, it's not going to be like this big reboot thing. Like they're just going to bring in the X-Men and Fantastic Four, kind of drop them in this world. You know what I mean? and be like, hey, you're still gonna have Sam Wilson, Cap.
Yeah,
they
well,
still want to do more Hemsworth, Thor. I mean, there ain't gonna be no multiverse. They're just gonna bring. It's like X-Men's here now.
Right. Well,
Fantastic Four's here now. Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine showed exactly how they could do it. They just took Wolverine and plopped him into this other universe.
Exactly.
They do the exact same thing with all these characters. And all of a sudden, they're all in the same world. Yeah,
but see, I would have preferred, and thinking of like the comic run, the all new, all different Marvel. They had a chance here to recast everyone, but just they're not going to do it. I mean, this is a way of getting a new T'Challa. But
people love Chris
Hemsworth.
They love Chris Evans. They don't want to see another Iron Man. They want RDJ, even though he's role.
I think they're gonna do Iron Lad for you comic book fans out there, the Ultimates comic book fans. That's the way to do a new Iron Man. He could be a version of Tony Stark, but not RDJ. So yeah, they're gonna do something like that. But so not a big reboot. We got here saying Miss Marvel season 2 could have been better than the Marvels. That kind of was the Marvels film. It was Miss Marvel season 2.
It was Marvel season 2.
That
Marvels. Yeah.
But it was the Marvels is not a bad movie. No one's gonna make me think that's a bad movie. It's a watchable. I think Brave New World's better than the Marvels. But Marvels isn't the worst.
It's about as
Marvel
good as the Dark World. It's very similar. I
gotta rewatch the Dark World. Maybe I'll appreciate it more after Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
you will. You will.
Maybe I will. Maybe I'll check that out. I may watch that tonight. We'll see. Let's get to our final topic here. We got a little DC. I was taking over by Marvel.
You didn't say nothing about
Marvel zombies all day, all week. Oh, cool. Oh, very appropriate. Very appropriate. Batman related, or is it the Clayface film? The standalone Clayface film, which
Batman
I believe is set to start shooting sometime this year. To come out, I believe it's 2026. This is crazy.
It's Batman adjacent.
So this is a low budget, according to the quotes here, $40 million film, character study, possibly do like some body horror, like the old school Jeff Goldblum, The Fly, films like that. Now the quote that I want to get y'all thoughts on is that because Mike Flanagan, who wrote the script, pitched this story to James Gunn like over a year ago, and Gunn seemed to love the story so much. We still know how close it is, like in the DCU or what. The ambiguity is really killing DC right now, but I don't want to get into that right now. But just the point, the story. Okay, so Mike Flanagan,
Lazy Guy Superman. Sorry, what are we talking about?
Mike Flanagan, Flanagan. He's a big fan of the Batman animated series. Oh, you did say Cross-Eyed Superman.
Yes, there we go.
All right. But he is a big fan of the Batman animated series and of that Clayface story, which is probably some of our, this is the animated series we all grew up on. And so he wanted to put story elements in the film, which that sound intriguing enough to get that in live action, right? Like that would be cool. But according to the, I don't know if it's like a rumor synopsis, it's a film. This film is going to be about a Hollywood horror. It's a Hollywood horror story, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Follows a B-movie actor who injects himself with a substance to keep himself relevant. That's a little veering off what the animated series was. The animated series was he got double crossed and was turned into Clayface, and it's like it's a tragic story, but he didn't do it to himself. I don't know, Speedy. Like again. I'm all about I gotta see execution first, right? I can't just jump off the cliff on this though. But the more and more I hear about this film, like why are we getting this film? And shout out to DC Films News for that. What's your thoughts on this, Pete?
It boils down to like, okay, we're gonna do this project. If it makes money, if it's gonna make money, it's gonna make sense, right? Right? I mean, that's just business. Running a business. Let's try it, right? But I guess if the budget's low and it's not, very painful, maybe it goes straight to streaming, Amazon, I don't know, at Netflix, and they make money that way. Sure, why not, right? If there's time, but at this like there's like a vulnerable stage that DC Studios is in right now. Like like they got more important things to focus on. You know, maybe get some of maybe get some of the solid stuff that needs to be, you know, grade A, and then they could work you know, play around with, you know, ideas. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
I agree. Just seems weird. It just seems really weird. A real weird choice when where they're at as a company, as a studio. You know, but I don't know. I mean, guess if they have such a really great script and they really think it's going to be awesome, what the heck do we know, right?
Yeah, we are the fans here. Jules, I don't imagine your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, Clayface is one of my favorite Batman villains. So I should be excited about this. But like Speedy was saying, the state of the DC universe right now, the film universe, is just pretty dire. Like, we have no idea what we're getting. They have no direction. They don't know where they're going. They have a lot of hope and prayers. That's what they're running on. And you need a lot more than that to actually run a film studio. Like, Marvel is just so far ahead right now, leagues and leagues ahead, years ahead with everything that they're doing. And then you see DC over here with their hard little reboot, you know, and then all the news that's coming out is not exciting. Then you have these random side projects like this. You have Swamp Thing and whatever else they have in the pipeline. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like I said, DC is vulnerable. Like, I mean, most people know, they watch my platform. I'm DC first with everything, and Marvel if it's interesting. But and that was like growing up with the comics and stuff too. Like I was always like more DC, except like Spider-Man, X-Men, you know, the big ones. But it's like DC. What I'm realizing right now, after the whole cross-eyed thing that Speedy keeps talking about with Superman.
Q-pick.
But after all that, it kind of showed me. It just hit me that this is where DC is at, man. Like Jules, you said with Marvel, how Marvel's miles ahead. Marvel just took a L with Phase 4 and 5. And they still was able like to on the fly.
They're coming back strong. Yeah. Look at everything they have in the pipeline. Everything that we've seen so far, moving from Fantastic Four. Doomsday is getting a lot of buzz. They have Secret Wars. Then they have the X-Men reboot to look forward to. They have so much going for them. And then you look over to DC and you're like, oh, scraps. You know, there's nothing new.
Scraps.
There's nothing to get excited over.
Little extreme, right there. But
it's not extreme. It is what it is. It's so bad. Like, there's no direction. There's nothing to look forward to.
Now I've adjusted my expectations of DC. Like, gone are the days where you remember when they had the Comic-Con announcing BVS,
the legendary Comic-Con where like DC finally beat Marvel at trailer that day.
Suicide Squad. Amazing. You know, the hype was just like up there. It's like now I'm just like, you know what? Superman, when it comes out, it's you know, it's going to do like a mid-level. It's going to make some money. And I'm just not going to expect it to go toe-to-toe with the big boys. That's just what I'm expecting.
And you know what it is too? I was talking to my niece the other day, and we randomly started she was talking about how she's gonna like binge Marvel movies with her friend who hasn't watched a few of them, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I kind of was like, oh well, they're not even that binge worthy anyway to dedicate a whole day to that. And she's like, oh well, you think DC? And like she brought up DC. So like I'm like, oh my god, even the normies are like shitting on DC now. And it's so bad.
Like, oh, you rather DC, Jules?
Yeah,
and I have a normie.
Yeah, and then she brought up like Aquaman 2, and I'm like, oh no, that's different. She was like, and she knew that like the vibe of DC has completely shifted, and then like you have the normies are not even like looking forward to anything DC related. And it's just like, oof. Yeah. Like the brand damage is probably is almost beyond repairable. Right
I'll tell you something crazy. I got a normie friend who was like, oh man, I watched the Snyder cut of Justice League, and oh man, it's so much better, but it's really long. But are they gonna continue all this part, and are they gonna continue the future thing where Batman's stuck with and you know, in the destroyed Earth or whatever? And I'm like, nah, bro, they're redoing the whole thing and a whole new Superman and everything. They're like, what do you mean? He's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But he's like he doesn't understand like any of this.
No.
Like he is a fly by night. Like I just want to see something cool. You know?
Exactly.
He's right now. He's like, I can't believe they're not continuing that. And I'm like,
we all saw the buzz on social media, and that's the thing. Outside of the nerd bubble, The general audience does not understand that DC is being completely wiped from what came before it, and there's this new thing coming.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense because you have so much continuity with Marvel, for better or worse, but at least you have, you know what to expect. With DC, you have no idea. And people don't like that.
True.
Especially when they had such cool storylines they were already working with. Like the Nightmare Batman scene. Hell yeah, I want to see that. Bring that back.
Yeah.
But nope, we're not.
That's like an epic arc.
Yeah.
That should be a season on Netflix right there.
It's easy.
Clearly, well,
they
were planning.
Call it Nightmare.
They were planning. They were planning a Ben Affleck the Batfleck film was going to be a series. When he came back to shoot Zack Snyder's Justice League, they were setting him up to do a series on HBO Max, and then they fired. That's when they brought in Cernoff and that other loser, and they got rid of the people. They got rid of the people that brought Zack back, basically.
Yeah. Right.
So they scrapped the Ben Affleck. Insane.
It was like low hanging fruit, just from like a business perspective. From a business perspective, it was like low hanging fruit. It was it was all over social media. It put HBO Max on the spot. Easy, so easy.
Easy layups.
Now we have this with the state of DC right now, and I know a lot of it. I know there's a lot of people will just be like, it's going to flop and it's a bomb. I don't think that's what the case is. I think disinterest is worse.
Yep.
It's even worse.
Because I think it's going to make enough money, but it's just like enough people aren't going to care. Yeah. I don't think.
Here go back to Captain America. How you feel about it or don't feel about it. Everybody's
Captain Marvel
talking about it.
Oh, Captain America.
All this week, well, the week before release, the week after, we're still talking about it.
But we're also
for another
week,
they're still going to be talking about it. Yeah.
We're talking about it because, like Syl said earlier, there's nothing to compete against. That's all. That's all that there is in this month.
Right, it's a perfect month for
this. Superman is going to be coming out sandwiched in between two juggernauts.
Oh, cue that graphic. And this is the worst case because when Superman comes out, I think it's going to do exactly what Brave New World just did, right? And in the month of July, it's going to be destroyed. Like if you're just coming out getting like 90 million, which will be good for Superman, that's mid-level though, because Jurassic World is going to do $1 billion. Fantastic Four is going to do $1 billion.
You guys see my grandson here that keeps camoing in the back, right? As soon as you put up the graphic of Jurassic World, he was like, "Lelo, look,
$1 billion.
There you
money
go,
in the bank, bro." And he's still looking at the graphic. He's trying to figure out what it is.
You got to wait till July 2nd. But it's just Superman. This isn't going to cut it in July doing what Brave New World just did. That's the point. You know what I mean? Like this Superman film, DC, is just going to be a brand. That's just what it is right now. You know what I mean? Nothing's going to – when you had – again, BVS coming out and the hype around it, no matter what people felt about the film,
Wonder Woman.
I remember the opening night hype of BVS, and the world came to see that film. And a lot of people argue about it still to this day. That's why it's probably a great film because people still argue about it. You don't have this conversation over Superman. Superman's going to come and go. And that's the worst thing possible for a DC brand.
That's not how you want your new branding to come across.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That is the state of times that we're in with DC, and like I said, just overall, we're going to see how this summer goes. Overall, as we kind of wind this one down,
it's I just one more final thought on the whole DC thing.
Yep.
It's crazy because, like we mentioned earlier, after Secret Wars, Marvel is going to be cranking out Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, and the Avengers on the regular. Meanwhile, you're going to have the new DCU. If it is successful and it continues, you're going to have like these little tiny projects like Supergirl and Lobo and whatever other B, C, D-list superhero James Gunn decides to put up there.
His favorites. James Gunn favorites.
You can't put those against the juggernauts that are Fantastic Four and X-Men and Spider-Man. I'm sorry, you just can't.
Well, next year is going to be wild. The funny thing in all this, though, until they decide to do a Batman, because that's the only thing they have. That's all DC could do. Is like, let's get this Batman together. But
that's one
next
movie,
year,
maybe one series.
Well, Batman's Batman, but Supergirl, I think, is going to have more hype than the Superman film.
Maybe.
But Superman's leading off the charge here, and again, overall, I'll make this very clear. Again, I'm DC first all day, so I'm gonna check out anything DC does, even if it hurts me. but just the excitement factor. Like I just feel like the excitement factor. I'm looking more forward to what Marvel does right now.
That's what we are.
That's the sin. That's the sin in all this for DC. Overall, currently watching Jurassic World animated shows.
My grandson loves those animated shows on Netflix right now.
I'm saying Jurassic, man.
Rewatch them.
Jurassic World Rebirth it's going to do amazing. I think it's going to probably break records. The Batman 2 was delayed for Clayface, by the way. Not directly. Not directly.
Incoming.
Matt Reeves had some personal stuff going on, so they delayed the script. But Gunn did kind of just move up Clayface, because of that. But it's just
they need something Batman related.
Yeah, it's gonna come out. It's like, okay, hey guys, y'all want to talk about Clayface?
Batman's villain. Batman's not in it, but you know him.
Yeah, likely Batman's not in it.
Yeah, you'll watch it.
Yeah, of course. That was the last part of that quote. Clayface is the protagonist, is the main. He's going to be kind of pitted as like this anti-good guy,
the anti-hero situation.
I'm like,
that
no,
I think people are tired of that too.
No. Like, don't do this, man. Like, just do Clayface for Batman. Like, why are we playing around with this?
Why can't we just have a villain be a villain if he is the main character? Like, he doesn't need to be a good guy or semi-good. Like,
they did it with Joker.
Right.
Yeah.
Let him be crazy.
Just have him, and it's gonna be this horror story. Don't say he's a protagonist. Like, no, like have him like just be a bad guy, just wreck shop, then have Batman in the shadows or something. That's an easy money right there. But no, you want to stay mid. That's just upsetting, man. I'm disappointed. On DC, leaving it on DC, depressing tone. But as we wrap this up, again, as I mentioned, on the X Twitter platform, I also do my coffee talk. That's just on Thursdays now because I'm too busy to even talk with friends or anything, family. So just Thursdays on coffee talk. That'll be on X Twitter and Rumble as well. YouTube. Anyone that watches my YouTube that's watching this on other platforms right now, I think next month. I think we're gonna have it back together. But
I
will pop. I may do a pop-up stream just to keep the going on the channel. Yeah,
the YouTube overlords are backing off for you.
Yeah, so I got through the review, so I am able to kind of unlock a lot of the classic videos. That was my main thing.
Right.
Like if they were going to like just wipe away, because I used to use a lot of drops in my videos and my intros and things like that. And so just because of some reason they decided to go back 3 years, but that's another story. I'll be able to unlock those videos again, and because that's really the bulk of my views is a lot of the classic videos that I had on here, and then the weekly we get the new views with the streams, but for ad revenue purposes, it really wouldn't have been worth keeping the channel if I couldn't have my old stuff on there. You know what I mean? So, so that should be good to go by next week. I'm able to, like I said, you'll start seeing my old videos come back up first because I'll be able to unlock those. So, we'll get back on the routine real soon with that. But Speedy, same old routine with your shows, right?
Yeah, same old routine. Next Tuesday, I won't be on the show for the Geek Culture Congress podcast, but the guys will be doing the show. And then, check out the YouTube channel. I do other stuff there as well. Speedy's Multiverse. Go give me a subscribe over there. And my show with the guys with the Geek Culture Congress podcast is Tuesdays, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Come be part of the live show and comment and tell us how stupid we are. Okay, thank you.
That helps viewership. Like when people say, "Hey, you're stupid," that actually helps.
That motivates them.
Watching.
Hate watching me, please. Thank you.
I tell you. Yeah, anytime I say anything about the Superman film, like I automatically get hate watches. It's like I'm like, hey man, I just give my opinion, bro. Like, I'm sorry.
You mean cross-eyed Superman?
The cross-eyed Superman. Lazy eye Superman. That is a thing. Oh yeah. Okay,
yeah, you slacking. Come on. There we
go. I'm trying to wrap up here. Jules, what's coming up? What's coming up for you?
Nothing much. Just on Twitter. Baseball season's about to start up. So
happy belated.
Yes, my birthday was last week.
Oh yeah. Happy birthday.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Speedy. So yeah, I'm gonna be probably very angry, all the time now. But then catch our show.
Wait, angry because of what? I'm sorry.
Baseball.
Oh, baseball. Yeah, that's right.
The Yankees are back. Pissing me off already.
My team doesn't even have a stadium right now, so.
Oh, are you a Tampa Bay team?
Yeah, I'm in Tampa. I'm in Tampa.
Facility.
Yeah.
Enjoy our
They're playing at the Yankee facility.
Yes, they are. Yep. Rolling out the red carpet for the Rays, but we still don't have a third baseman. So, congrats.
Yeah.
That's deep. As Jules mentioned, me and her show on Rumble, Indie Rationale, is on Fridays. Now Fridays, because that allows me to not pass out Thursdays. So glad we was able to move it to Friday.
Busy.
I'm just incredibly busy. I'm doing two things right now. No. But as I mentioned, the Friday show over there as well. Oh, we got Dodgers fans.
Dodgers fans in the room. I don't hate it.
Oh yeah, Jules don't want to hear that.
I still have PTSD, please.
But anyway, Friday we'll be over there talking world. It's like world news, popular stuff. I know we get some tabloid stuff over there, Jules. You got other stuff.
Oh yeah, we touched on it a little bit last week. I don't forget what it was, but some tabloid stuff, and it's fun. I'll switch it up a little bit.
A little bit. We won't get too serious with all this the political stuff. So right. a lot of conversation over there. So much appreciated. Appreciate the panel here as well, and Speedy's guest star for Jurassic World. But appreciate everyone checking out Wednesday Crew. Till next time.